back. So hopefully everything sounds good. I've been having issues with the stupid audio today, so hopefully it's fixed. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm gonna do it a little bit louder, but David Martinez, thanks for joining me. Chuck Dominguez, thanks for joining me. So, newest episode of Underrated Gems Movie Club. Today, we will be breaking down the sci-fi classic, the 1997 film. One of the most underrated films of all time, in my humble opinion, Starship Troopers. So let's break it down. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Alright, according to the chat, the audio is fine. I was having issues because I'm having to play the movie off the Xbox again, so I'm having issues with the audio. I messed up, moved some stuff around, but hopefully it's fine. Hopefully it's not too hot for you guys out there. I felt like having another beer, so I got a beer here for me. Hopefully you guys something. It's 5 o'clock, so I'm assuming most of you are off work by now. I mean, you're gonna be basically watching a movie with me, so I'm assuming you're off the clock and you're ready to chill back, relax, and have some fun. So cheers, everybody. Like I said, hope you're having a good one. Hope it was a easy day for you. But let's get started because I actually have a lot of stuff I need to go through before we even start with Underrated Gems, before we even start with the movie. So first off, a few announcements. All right, I finally kind of broke down the calendar for August. So if you want to watch or if you want to be a part of the movie club, you kind of know what's up. I'll be doing movie trivia in a minute. I got 5 questions ready for you. Like I said, I'm usually going with the theme of the movie that I'm watching. Today we're watching a sci-fi movie. It's from the 90s, so the trivia for today will be 90s sci-fi trivia, you know, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. As I said, we're talking about Starship Troopers today. If you've never seen the movie, here's a quick summary from IMDb. Humans in a fascist, militaristic future wage war against giant alien bugs. That's fair. I mean, it's not 100% accurate, but sure, it's enough. It's accurate enough, you know, for you to understand what the hell the movie's about. So, there you go. And like I said, I kind of have a calendar ready. So, if you guys are wondering what movies are we gonna be watching in August, well, here you go. So the last one, I already mentioned it last week, the last one that we will be watching for July will be Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, the 1995 version, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that. 1995. It's a great film. Honestly, the only reason why I picked this one is because I want to watch it. I recently put on the song again, the Mortal Kombat, and I was like, man, I want to rewatch that movie because it was good. At least I enjoyed it as a video game film. So the 1995 version, that's what we're going to be doing next week, but it's not going to be next Thursday. It'll be next Wednesday. So Wednesday, July 26th, we will be doing Underrated Gems with Mortal Kombat. Why? Because I will be out of town the next day. I will be going camping, and so I can't do the show while I'm camping. So we're going to do it next Wednesday, all right? Wednesday, July 26th, Mortal Kombat. So, let me see. Check the Mingus. It's my day off. It's 113 where I live, so I'm not getting out of my house at all. You know what? Good. You shouldn't. There's nothing good going on out there. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Gus Becerra, it's the Dario motherfucking movie club. Hell's fucking yeah, it is. Hells yeah. Gus Becerra, hell yeah. Mortal Kombat has the best theme song. I agree. Honestly, I may have to get Eric in on this one so that we can do a list of the best theme songs. But it's definitely out there. Definitely out there. It gets you pumped. David Martinez, I'm still working. Well, hopefully this is a nice distraction for you. And hopefully you got some nice air conditioning where you are. So, cheers to you. To your health. So again, that's July, next Wednesday. Now for August. All right, I'm going to do the whole calendar for August. So unless something goes massively wrong or I get hired for a job or something, this is the schedule that we're planning to keep. 5 p.m. every single one of these. So, and by the way, what I'm going to try to do is basically switch up the decade for every single movie. I know we did back-to-back 90s. I don't care. It's the movie that I wanted to watch. So, cry me a river. But yeah, basically I'm going to switch up decades every single time. So next This will be Thursday, August 3rd. We're going to watch RoboCop. All right? Again, we're going to stick with a little bit of science fiction, dystopian future, movie that may or may not have gotten things correctly, predicted a few very interesting things, particularly about crime and property ownership, so that one should be fine. Next, this would be August 9th. So the week of August 9th, it's also going to be on a Wednesday. The reason why it's going to be on a Wednesday is because I will be out of town yet again. I'm going on a fishing trip on the 10th, so it has to be on the 9th. But anyway, the movie is out. By the way, for those of you who've never seen RoboCop, here's a quick summary of it. In a dystopic and crime-ridden Detroit, a terminally wounded cop returns to the force as a powerful cyborg haunted by submerged memories. All right, so in case anybody has never seen it. So again, Wednesday, RoboCop will be Thursday, August 3rd. On Wednesday the 9th, we will be watching Wind River. Now, this movie came out in 2017. It's a phenomenal crime mystery drama. Phenomenal. It stars Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch, otherwise known as Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. The movie's phenomenal. Here's the quick IMDb for it. A wildlife officer who is haunted by a tragedy that happened because of him, teams up with an FBI agent in solving a murder of a young woman on a Wyoming Native American reservation, and hopes to get redemption for his past regrets. The movie's phenomenal. I loved it. It'll really make you want to, become a hunter, or go out into the wild, out into nature. So I highly recommend this one. I'm looking forward to it. Let me see. Damn Dog already humming that Mortal Kombat theme song. Hells yeah, Toro Rosso. It's a phenomenal theme. It's nothing wrong with that. Gus Becerra, I'm on antibiotics. Can't drink. That sucks. All right, well, so I feel I'll drink to you, to your health, so that you get better soon. Anyway, so that's 2017 film. Next, August 17th. Now, I think we should be back on track by then. The rest of the movies will be on a Thursday, but we are going back to the 90s, and we're going to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the 1990 film. For those of you who've never seen it or don't know what the hell the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are about, 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles emerge from the shadows to protect New York City from a gang of criminal ninjas. The first one, is extremely good. I like 2 and 3, like 2, The Secret of the Ooze, and 3, I think it's Turtles in Time or whatever, because they're bad. I like them because they're bad, all right? And I saw them when I was a kid. I have strong nostalgic feelings for it. This one is objectively good, and not even good. I'd say it's close to great. And we will be breaking that down, as I mentioned before, Thursday, August 17th. After that, we'll go back to the 2000s, and this time it's 2002, and we will be watching The Count of Monte Cristo. This is the Jim Caviezel version with Guy Pearce. For those of you who don't know what the hell this is about, it's one of the greatest revenge stories of all time, based on the book The Count of Monte Cristo, it was written by Alexandre Dumas. I believe that's how you say it. Is it Dumas? I don't care. It's the guy who wrote The Three Musketeers. Anyway, a young man falsely imprisoned by his jealous friend escapes and uses a hidden treasure to exact his revenge. So, there you go. Again, this will be August 24th. And the final movie for August, this will be Thursday, August 31st. We're going back to the 80s with a movie with one of the craziest casts of all time, The Outsiders. All right? If you've never heard of The Outsiders, let me just give you it's based on a book directed by a small-time director named Francis Ford Coppola. You might have heard of him. You might have heard of the Godfather series that he made. It was small. It wasn't a big deal. Maybe you never heard of it. But yeah, in a small Oklahoma town in 1964, the rivalry between two gangs, the poor greasers and the rich Sox, heats up when one gang member accidentally kills a member of the others. Again, the cast for this movie is insane. All right, you got Matt Dillon, Patrick Swayze, Emilio Estevez, the Karate Kid, Tom Cruise. I forget this man's name, Rob Lowe. So again, the movie's phenomenal. All right, classic Francis Ford Coppola, highly underrated. May not be his best film, but it's a fun film to watch. And so that's how we're gonna go through August. So again, real quick, next Wednesday, 7/26, we're doing Mortal Kombat. After Mortal Kombat, Thursday, August 3rd, we're doing RoboCop. After that, Wednesday, August 9th, we're watching Wind River. I highly recommend that one. I think I watched it for free on Amazon. The one that you can, I think you can watch it for free with commercials, or at least I did a few years back. Next, you got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Thursday, August 17th. The Count of Monte Cristo on Thursday, August 24th. And we're closing down August with The Outsiders on August 31st. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. Let me see. Gus Becerra, we should do the original Batman. You mean the Tim Burton one? Sure, why not? You know what? I'll add it to the list of all the other. My list's already got like 30 films, so I think we're good for the rest of the year. But you know, every once in a while, something tickles my fancy, and I'll just watch it. So who knows? Toro Rosso, TMNT, and Monte Cristo. You got some bangers coming up, sir. Can't wait. Yes, this is all about bangers. You know, I might do underrated gems twice a week. You know, there's too many good movies out there, and they're all old. They're not. No, I'm kidding. I probably won't do it twice a week because it does take a lot of work to do it. But it also takes up a lot of time. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Like I think I'm building a pretty nice calendar. If you guys could see the list that I have in front of me, you'd be excited. You'd be very excited. We got some really good movies coming up for the future, and they're all movies that I feel like I want to watch. So that's basically the biggest criteria here. What movie do I think it's good and I feel like watching? So there you go. There you go. For those of you who were wondering what the hell is in store for the future of underrated gems. And so now we can move on to movie trivia as we wait for whoever's going to join us. Yes, please, twice a week. Listen, man, if the numbers are good enough for this show, I'll keep doing it. Yeah, you know, if it picks up, if it starts, you know, picking up some heat, I'll do it. Why not? Why not? You gotta follow success, right? And that reminds me, like, share, subscribe to this channel, share this video. It really helps me out. It'll help you out because apparently, you know, it'll bring the numbers up, and you can do more underrated. We can do more underrated gems. You know, if the numbers are there, why not? There's definitely more than enough movies. What is it like? There's 50 weeks in a year, so I'm pretty sure we can cover 100 movies. I'm pretty sure there's more than 100 movies out there. So I think we could do it, but it's a matter of time and if it's actually worth the investment. Well, whatever. That's a problem for the future. So let's begin with movie trivia. We will begin with a movie with a question about another movie that has to do with asteroids. So as you know, asteroids are a big part of Starship Troopers. And so we will, in that spirit, start with an Armageddon question. So here you go. In Armageddon, well, actually, I wrote it wrong, but what actor does not appear in the 1998 destruction film Armageddon? All right, what actor does not appear in Armageddon? Here you go. And remember, don't cheat. Don't go online. Luke Wilson, Billy Bob Thornton, Ben Affleck, Steve Buscemi, or Owen Wilson? Who does not appear in the 1998 film Armageddon? Luke Wilson, Billy Bob Thornton, Ben Affleck, Steve Buscemi, or Owen Wilson? I'll give you a little bit. Let's see. Twice a week. It's interesting to see if old movies we regard as great actually hold up. Owen Wilson, Chuck Dominguez. Let me see. Nope. Luke Wilson, David Martinez. You got it, man. You got it. That is correct. Yeah, Luke Wilson wasn't there. And I realized that I fucked up with this question. That's not really how it was supposed to go. I originally meant to write down Owen Wilson and another actor who was incorrect, but I fucked up. I got their names wrong in my head. But as I was reading it, I managed to correct it, so I didn't really have to tell you. But whatever. It's fun. It's funny. So there you go. Let me see. I might have to sponsor your show. Hey, you know what? We can talk about that. But anyway, let's continue. Next question, number 2. Oh, by the way, here you go. It's a picture of the cast. So you got Steve Buscemi there, Owen Wilson, Ben Affleck, Michael Clark Duncan, Bruce Willis. I mean, everybody knows Bruce Willis, and Billy Bob Thornton. He's one of the NASA guys, so you don't really see him. Next, In The Matrix, again, we're doing 90s sci-fi trivia. This might be a little bit tougher, might be not, depends on how good you are with names. What is the name of Morpheus's ship? All right, so in the real world, what is the name of Morpheus's ship? Let's see who remembers. Think about it. It's actually, if you look at the design of that ship, it looks very similar to the designs of the ships in Starship Troopers, but you know, that's similar to designs of the ship for Battlestar Galactica. So as you can notice, kind of in that particular decade, everybody was taking inspiration from the exact same place, which happens a lot. So again, in The Matrix, remember, Neo, Trinity, Morpheus. In the real world, there is a ship that they used to hack into the Matrix and travel around, you know, the sewers of the world. What is the name of that ship? La Pinta, Gazbacera. You're wrong, but honestly, it's a good try. I appreciate it. Chuck Dominguez, I don't remember, so I'll give you like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. The Milano, the Millennium Falcon, the SS Middle Johnson. Nope. 3, 2, 1. The Never Can Never. Dude, you're close. You're very close. It's the Nebuchadnezzar. Super close for David Martinez. You know, I'm inclined to give it to you because Never Can Never sounds a lot like Nebuchadnezzar, and it's really hard to write it. I'll spell it out for you. Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar. I wasn't expecting you to spell it. Never Can Never. Close enough. I'll give it to you. You know what? Fine, I'll give it to you. Feeling generous because that wasn't particularly easy. So now we're moving on to audio. All right. So what movie? You have to listen to the audio. It's like a 30-second clip. I made it a little bit longer. But what movie is this audio clip from? Here we go. Well, oh, damn it. I fucked up. I keep fucking up. All right. So hopefully you didn't see that. But why did it play that one? That's weird. Wait, the audio's not here. Huh. Really interesting stuff. Whoops. Who messed up with this? That was me. All right, here you go.
I know there is much we can learn from each other if we can negotiate a truce. We can find a way to coexist. Can there be a peace between us? Peace. No peace. What is it you want us to do?
Alright, Chuck Dominguez, you got that one, and I think it has to do because I fucked up with the thing. But still, I picked an easy one. Just in case, I'll play the video here for those of you who don't, you know, couldn't recognize it. I had to edit this thing out. It was a massive pain in the ass, but I managed to get it. Here you go.
I know there is much we can learn from each other if we can negotiate a truce. We can find a way to coexist. Can there be a peace between us? No peace. What is it you want us to do?
All right, so just a little Independence Day, Independence. You all got it. It's Independence Day. You got it. I fucked up on that one. But just a little bit of a little background here for you guys. That was a massive pain in the ass to do because I had to edit out the scene completely because there's a lot of just looking around. The audio was a mess. It was nuts. So if you guys didn't even notice the edits, I think I did a pretty good job. I just wanted you to know that it was difficult, but I did for you guys. Anyway, let's continue with the next question, and this is a Tremors question. So hopefully you've seen this movie from the 80s. It's fun. I actually recently rewatched it with my kid brother. The movie holds up. It's actually pretty fun. But in Tremors, in what state does the monster at least from the 90s, now that I remember. Yeah, it's in the 90s. In what state does the monster comedy horror film take place? Extra points if you can tell me the name of the town. All right, so what town, or at the very least, what state does Tremors take place in? Think about it. As you can see from the image, if you guys can remember the movie, it's really dusty all the time. It looks like it's kind of hot out there. So think about it. Honestly, there's not that many choices. Not in the U.S. Like if it's Mexico, I'd immediately be like, it's here. But shit, haven't seen this one yet. Toro Rosso, dude, you should. The movie, it's campy, but it holds up. Again, it's a monster horror comedy, and it holds up. It actually holds up. New Mexico, Toro Rosso, Chuck Dominguez. You are both incorrect. It's actually Nevada. And this, by the way, the name of the town is named Perfection, Nevada. That's where it takes place. Nevada, whatever. So, moving on to the final question for the movie trivia. And this time, it's another audio question. Yes, because I love the audio questions, and they're fun to do. So this time, I'll make sure that I don't fuck up the clip. Let's see. Here we go. Again, 30 seconds. You have to figure out where this one's from. Honestly, I don't think it's that particularly easy, because I didn't go with one of the most iconic moments. I think it should be memorable enough, but I don't know. I have a weird memory. But here we go. Figure out what movie is this 30-second clip from.
Voila, the GF1. Slide. Handles adjustable for easy carrying. Good for riders and lefties. Breaks down on 4 parts, undetectable by X-ray. Ideal for quick, discreet interventions. A word on firepower. Titanium recharger. 3,000 round clip with bursts of 3 to 300. With the replay button, another Zorg invention, it's even easier. One shot. Replay sends every following shot to the same location.
All right. I know it's not easy. All right. Because again, it's not the most iconic, and it's really hard to notice because the actor is so good that you probably don't even recognize his voice. But I'll play it again. Let's see. Ghostbusters. Incorrect there. Let me just play the clip again for you.
Voila, the GF1. Slide. Handles adjustable for easy carrying. Good for riders and lefties. Breaks down on 4 parts, undetectable by X-ray. Ideal for quick, discreet interventions. A word on firepower. Titanium recharger. 3,000 round clip with bursts of 3 to 300. With the replay button, another Zorg invention, it's even easier. One shot. Replay sends every following shot to the same location.
All right. David Martinez, Goth Element. See, you're right there. You're right. I'm assuming it's a typo. But if you said The Fifth Element, then you are correct. That is, it might be, no, that is from The Fifth Element. You are correct, sir. And let me just play the scene real quick for you guys. So in case you don't remember it, here we go. And by the way, again, freaking Gary Oldman, he's just too good. You don't even recognize his voice in here.
Voila, the GF1. Slide. Handles adjustable for easy carrying. Good for riders and lefties. Breaks down on 4 parts, undetectable by X-ray. Ideal for quick, discreet interventions. A word on firepower. Titanium recharger. 3,000 round clip with bursts of 3 to 300. With the replay button, another Zorg invention, it's even easier. One shot. Replay sends every following shot to the same location.
Love that movie. Love that movie. As I was doing this list, I was like, man, Bruce Willis did a lot of phenomenal films, a lot of phenomenal sci-fi films in the 90s. I mean, a lot of them. You got 12 Monkeys, you got Armageddon, you got The Fifth Element. They're all phenomenal. But anyway, yeah, there you go. The Fifth Element. Fun fact, for those of you who don't know, the villain and the hero of The Fifth Element never actually meet. Corvin Dallas never actually meets Gary Oldman's character. It's actually pretty fun. Let me see. If you would put Chris Tucker clips, I would have had it. Yes, and that's why I didn't put Chris Tucker. He's too iconic, all right? I did consider asking what's the name of the actor who plays Ruby Rose or whatever, or Ruby Rose, whatever. But I was like, man, it's just too easy. Chris Tucker was just too good, and his voice is too recognizable. Like, hey, what are you doing, Corvin? Corvin, help me, Corvin! Anyway, yeah. Love Gary Oldman and True Romance. True Romance is a phenomenal film. And again, the man's a chameleon, right? You don't recognize him half the time. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, dude's in like half of my favorite movies. Holy shit, I didn't even know. Commissioner Gordon, what? The hell? Anyway, let's continue. It's now I think it's been what long? It's been 25 minutes. I think we can move on to underrated gems, the movie, and I'm gonna be moving kind of quickly, just because it's been a while and the movie's kind of long. But really quickly here, before we even get started, a few points. So, the themes of this movie, The Professional, love Gary Oldman, and the Professional. That's a phenomenal film. Yes, okay, get me everyone. What do you mean everyone? Everyone. That's great. The intensity, awesome. I heard that's an ad lib that Gary Oldman did kind of just to surprise the director and everybody, kind of as practice, but it ended up making it into the film. So there you go. Great bad guy in there. Yes, phenomenal. All right, so themes of this movie. There's many themes, and there's actually a point where we won't be discussing much about the film because it basically just ends up being a bunch of it becomes an action movie, which is fine. It's okay. We're gonna talk more during the start of the film than we will at the end, towards the end, because there's a lot of interesting stuff at the beginning. But themes for this movie would be responsibility, violence, leadership. Well, the importance of leadership. Interestingly enough, communism versus fascism, the masculine versus the feminine. Because this movie, as you will see, it's actually kind of progressive for its time. They really went balls to the walls with the equality of the sexes, and there's very, very competent, very good female characters in this movie. I think it's underrated in that sense as well, because the point here is not really if they're male or female, it's that they're really competent. But there's the masculine aspect of this movie would be the brute force, the violence, the brutality. And the feminine aspect would be more of an intellectual approach to things, and that's kind of how they handle it here. And so it works out really well, and you will see that female characters slowly become start taking leadership roles because of their competence above everything else. So it'll be keep an eye on that. Denise Richards, yes, I don't particularly love her character, but I do love her. So one thing that's super important for you to know, this movie's based off a book, right? We will not. They're actually pretty different. The movie and the book are pretty different. So we will only be focusing on the movie here. We will be pretending almost like the book doesn't exist. However, it is important for you to keep in mind that the book was published in 1959, right? And what was happening in the world during 1959? The Cold War, right? So in many ways, the bugs are the commies, right? The bugs are stand-ins for commies. Now, the movie was based in the movie's made in the 90s, and it doesn't follow the exact tropes from the book, but still, it's enough for you to understand that the bugs are stand-ins for commies, and there are a few lines here that very clearly indicate that they're commies. So just so you understand. Also, I'm very happy that I get to wear this shirt because I have a Klendathu shirt. It says the only good bug is a dead bug. I love it. It's one of my favorite shirts. I also love the color. I actually got it when we were playing a board game, and I chose the bug race, but whatever. Anyway, wrong girl died in this one. The Ruskies want to fight us. Sometimes. Anyway, let's get started. So this is actually going to be a little bit tricky because since I'm using the Xbox, things will get fucked up again. Hopefully not too much. And let's see. How's that looking? Is it good? Are we on screen? All right. Hopefully this goes well. Let me move this here so can I actually see the chat. Keep an eye on it. All right. Hopefully that's good enough. So let's get started. Starship Troopers. If there's any issue with the audio or anything, dead commies. Let me know if there's any issues with the audio again, all right? Also, let me move my notes so it's a little bit easier. I'm not breaking my neck. So, here we go. All right, so the movie begins with basically like a little news thing, right? They're breaking down, and they're actually doing a pretty good job at breaking down how this particular world works. And also, very important, the movie does not begin at the beginning, right? At least not in the timeline, not chronologically. It begins sort of in the middle. and it plays a little bit, and it plays with the audience a little bit. So we start roughly halfway at the start of halfway through the film, and then we go back to the beginning. But we don't know that. You know, as the audience, we're kind of confused, and we're trying to figure out what the hell is going on, right? So we get to see all this stuff going down. See some soldiers. I don't know why I can skip it the way I want. Whoops. All right, so it's a basically recruitment video for the military. This one's gonna be really difficult to do. All right, so recruitment stuff. Yes, more recruiting. How they're showing kids, how they're trying to get them into the army, and then we learn that bugs throw meteors to Earth, and finally we go into the invasion of Klendatu. Right, so they explain that the bug planet, what it is, how they send asteroids to Earth. And that humans are basically, in order to defend ourselves, we're invading the planet, right? And so we have an invasion scene. I think I'd probably play the whole thing. So here we go.
Landed here on what Scout Troopers are calling Big K, with a 6th Mobile Infantry Division. It's an ugly planet, a bug planet.
All right, I'm stopping it there just simply so the stream doesn't get taken down. I'm hoping it won't. But yeah, you can see it's a news report, and again, you got soldiers, troops on the ground attacking the bug planet. Here we go.
A planet hostile to life.
I just want, honestly, look at the CGI of this film. It's better than some of the stuff we see today. Like it holds up. It really. There's some things that sure it looks campy and it looks old and dated, but overall, I think the CGI is pretty good. Let me see. Toro, I know, right? That 2-timing bitches live. I think you're talking about the girl here, Carmen. Gus Becerra, Mark Wahlberg was on a talk show with Kevin Hart, ridiculing the fact that they tried to cast him as the lead on Starship Troopers back in the day. What? Mark Wahlberg was saying he was too good for this movie. Actually, I think he would have done a pretty good job. But yeah, sure. Go do Planet of the Apes, guy. Anyway, let's continue. So we begin getting a pretty clear look at what the monster is. Now, usually when there's a monster movie or whatever, they try to hide the monster and then show it and scare everybody, blah, blah. They would have hidden how the bugs look. And remember, other monster movies, they try to hide it so that you build up the monster in your mind. Here, what they're telling you is what you're going to see after this is actually much worse. So we're showing it to you straight up. And we want you to see it. We want you to see it with your eyes, clearly, how it looks like, how strong it is, and everything, because we got something better, or at least they should have something better to show you down the line, right? It's actually, a pretty ballsy move there.
Go! Keep moving! Get out of here now!
A whole bunch of soldiers getting killed and getting injured, and then flashback 1 year earlier. So they're telling us something here, right? They're telling us things are not going to look good in a year. So we've already seen a bunch of characters die, and we'll see which ones are the ones that die and which ones make it, which ones don't, and we'll see which characters we're gonna follow. Point is, they're setting up something, right? It could be a misdirect, it could be not, but they gave us something to look forward to. Now, we're assuming that we're going to see something that's closer to the climax, or the darkest night, as it would be called in film, or at least in storytelling, but maybe not. Who knows? Let's continue. All right. Oh, by the way, they also explained the concept in the news thing, they explained the concept of service guaranteed citizenship. But we're about to go into the class where the professor actually breaks it down, and so there you go. I don't really need to break it down for you.
Rico.
All right, so I'm going to move fast. So there's a class. We see Rico back in high school that we learn who the main character is, Johnny Rico, and he's in class. And honestly, I wish I could show you this whole scene, but it's kind of long, and so I'm just gonna read you what they say. I wrote it down, and so we meet 4 characters here. Johnny Rico, the main character, his girl played by Denise Richards played by Carmen, and the redhead whose name is Dis, and Professor Mr. Ratchak, right? So, an important thing to point out here, as we're going through this scene and we're learning a lot of important things about the world that we're watching right now, we also learn a few things about Johnny Rico here. So a few important things we're learning that he cares more about a girl and doodling some stuff in his computer, I guess, than his class, right? So we also learned that the redhead behind Rico named Diz is really into Rico. So there you go. I'm about to read you exactly what Professor Ratchak said. Get that again, Rico is ignoring as he's saying it, and it's important stuff. This year, we explored the failure of democracy, how the social scientists brought our world to the brink of chaos. Again, think about it. This book was released in the early before this, 59. I have it written down here. Yes, 59. So again, this is a person imagining what the future will look like, right? So it's somebody in the 1950s thinking about how the world will be in the future. And in his mind, the social scientists brought our world to the brink of chaos. We talked about the veterans, how they took control and imposed stability that has lasted for generations since. You know these facts, but have I taught you anything of value? You, why are only citizens allowed to vote? And the student answers, it's a reward, what the Federation gives you for doing federal service. The professor answers, no, something given has no value. When you vote, you are exercising political authority. You're using force. Force, my friends, is violence, the supreme authority from which all other authority is derived. All right, so here we are learning that this is a world, again, built by military veterans, right? Everybody else, all the social scientists, they were like, get out of here with your bullshit. We're taking control. And why? Because they believe that might equals right. The thing that he said about violence being the supreme authority from which all other authorities are derived could be 100% correct. Might equals right. And this tells you a lot about the mentality of the government, of the society in general. It's a militaristic society. May not be 100% fascist, because I think fascists, you need like one person. And at least in the movie, they don't show that particular person. But overall, it is a militaristic society. The people who have more the rights, the service guarantee, the citizens are generally the veterans, right? People who enlisted in the military. So, and very important thing, might equals right, violence. Listen, it's kind of, I've said this 1,000 times. Violence is the easiest solution to any problem, but it doesn't guarantee that it'll actually fix it. All right. So, for example, you lock yourself out of your car. What would be the easiest way for you to get back in your car? You break the window, right? You'll get back in the car. The problem is now you have a broken window. You arrive at you are about to cross the street, I don't know, or you want to go into a cafe and there's somebody who gets in front of you. So the easiest way for you to get your coffee, if you don't want to wait, would be to push the other person out of the way. The problem is that maybe they deny you service, or they'll get you arrested, stuff like that. Violence is the easiest solution, always, but it's not. Generally, it doesn't fix the problem, or it creates another set of problems. Unless you go with so much force and you go scorched earth that you make sure that there's nothing that could ever stand in your path again. However, that requires a lot of investment and a lot of work. So anyway, just so you can understand the issues with that particular mentality as the way that we look at it. Let me see. Mark was busy rapping with the Funky Bunch back at that time. I had a crush on her when I was a kid. I'm assuming you mean Denise Richards or the redhead. If you want peace, prepare for war. There's a difference between being prepared for war and push for war. Big difference. But anyway, let's continue with the scene. Okay, let me see. I think I can play a little bit here. It's just...
When you vote.
All right. Okay.
Force. And force, my friends, is violence. The supreme authority from which all other authority is derived.
My mother always said violence never solves anything.
Really? I wonder what the city fathers of Hiroshima would say about that. You.
They probably wouldn't say anything. Hiroshima was destroyed.
Correct.
All right. So again, back to the point. If you're going to go with violence, you need to go all the way. And here's something pretty interesting. So the professor uses Hiroshima as an example. So what would the girl says, my mother says violence never solves anything. Like, I wonder what the founding fathers of Hiroshima would say to that. It's interesting that they used Hiroshima as an example because Hiroshima is an example from our world, right? So this is our history. We know what happened in Hiroshima. They don't say it, but we know that Hiroshima got nuked. So what they're saying there's up to that point, our worlds were the same. So at least until the end of WW2, their world and our world is the same. It diverged somewhere. We don't know exactly where, but it diverged at some point, and they're living in a future where, or it could be our world way further into the future. It's unclear. But what they wanted to make sure that we understood is that at least up to that point, it was the same. And again, you need to keep in mind that this book was written shortly after the end of WW2. So, there you go. The redhead. Yes, this is phenomenal. So, oh, damn, it's hot. All right, so let's continue. Let me see.
Naked force has resolved more issues throughout history than any other factor. The contrary opinion, that violence never solves anything, is wishful thinking at its worst. People who forget that always pay. Rico.
All right. You guys caught that? I can say it again. Naked force has resolved more issues throughout history than any other factor. The contrary opinion that violence never solves anything is wishful thinking at its worst. People who forget that always pay. Again, it tells you about the mentality of the world more than anything, and we could debate till the end of time whether these things are correct or not. It doesn't matter, and this show is not really meant for that. It's just for you to understand the mentality of that particular world, the way that they see that world, because we're witnessing their world, and we need to get into their mindset. All right? So, let me see. Here they asked the question,
if any, between a civilian and a citizen.
A citizen accepts personal responsibility for the safety of the body politic, defending it with his life. A civilian does not.
The exact words of the text. But do you understand it? Do you believe it?
I don't know.
Of course you don't.
all right. Here we're learning something pretty important. Rico, our boy Johnny Rico, the main character of this particular film, who was pretty much ignoring the class and doing a bunch of drawings, knows the answer, the exact answer to the question he was asked, and he gave the exact answer that was on the textbook, meaning that either he's smart or he really cares about this class. Also, there's a difference between intelligence and wisdom. So he might be able to parrot an answer back, and the answer was that, let me see, I think I have to wrote it, right? What's the moral difference between a civilian and a citizen? A citizen accepts personal responsibility for the safety of the body politic, defending it with his life. A civilian does not. I mean, we can debate that, but that's not really the point. And I disagree. But anyway, so he might be intelligent, but he's not wise. He doesn't understand exactly what that means. So you might know it, but you don't understand it. So he's still young, he's naive, he's immature, he lacks experience. He's, I can tell you million answers that I remembered for a test in school that I just memorized, but I didn't really understand. So, could be many things. Anyway. So that's setting up to what this world is. So the next thing that we learned is that Rico is dating Carmen, but we also learned that Carmen is actually pretty smart. She's actually pretty clever. She's funny. She's in love with Rico for some bizarre reason, and she really wants to join Fleet Academy, right? She's really looking forward to joining Fleet. And for those of you who don't know, basically, she's joining to be she wants to join the U.S. Air Force. She needs to get good math grades. She has 97%. So again, it's telling you this girl, smart, capable. On the other hand, Rico got a 35% in math. So what does that tell you? We just saw Rico actually be a good student. You know, he paid attention. He knew the exact same answer to the previous question. So you would think, okay, so he's a good student. Turns out not. So Rico's not a good student. It was a class that he was interested in. Now, is he interested in the topic, or did he like the professor personally? It's not clear at this point. But like I said, we're learning stuff about our boy Rico. So here we're introduced to Carl, Rico's best friend. Let's continue. Damn it! I hate doing this. I hated doing it this way. So Carl basically tells him like, "Hey, are you coming to my house later?" Blah blah blah, and they start doing classic high school stuff. Like, "Hey, have you banged her yet? If not, Diz is like literally right there, and she wants to have you." And here, Rico drops a line that's pretty important in the long run. Well, they're setting up something. And it's the possibility that Carl is psychic. Again, it's not clear at this point. It could be just him kidding, but he asks the question seriously. Rico asks Carl, "What? Did you read her mind?" He asks it really seriously. Again, it could be a joke, could be not, but they're hinting at the possibility that maybe he can read minds actually. Which, spoiler alert, he kind of can. Anyway, so what happens next? So Carmen's excited. Let me see. Oh, then we have basically the introduction to the enemy, which is the bugs. And this is the closest thing to like the commie description. Let me see how... The important line here is Rico saying, "It's just a bug." All right, so Carmen's not particularly happy about having a bug nearby. She's showing that she doesn't have a particularly strong stomach. Which again, it shows that maybe she can't hold... She can't get up close and personal to certain things, which would make sense for a pilot. But I'll play a bit of the scene here so you can hear the professor's description of what a bug is. So again.
Oh, come on, it's just a bug. You better put your goggles on.
Just a bug. We humans like to think we are nature's finest achievement. I'm afraid it just isn't true. This Archelian sand beetle is superior in many ways. It reproduces in vast numbers, has no ego, has no fear, doesn't know about death, and so is the perfect selfless member of society.
But humans are...
All right, there you go. So that's basically the closest description to why, or that makes you understand that they're talking about commies, and I'll explain it. I'll read it again just so that you know what the hell is going on. The Archelian sand beetle is superior in many ways. It reproduces in vast numbers, has no ego, has no fear, doesn't know about death, and so is the perfect selfless member of a society. Right? He's basically, in other words, the perfect soldier, the perfect communist. Why? Because they are basically brainless. All right? They have no individuality whatsoever. They only care about the colony. They are the perfect communists. And again, bugs are stand-ins for commies in this particular story. The perfect commies, mind you. So, just so you understand that particular fact, they wanted to really bring it home there. Anyway, so blah, 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 blah. Carmen still wants to argue a little bit. I don't think we even need to see that, but whatever. Then she breaks down with what the bigger bugs are. Again, they're setting up the villain here.
That go to your head. Take the example of the arachnids, a highly evolved insect society. By human standards, they are relatively stupid. But their evolution stretches over millions of years. And now,
Here, take this.
they can colonize planets by hurling their spore into space.
Okay, I think we got it.
All right. So again, we're learning about the enemies here. The big deadly bugs that we saw at the beginning of the film, killing people like crazy that were super hard to take down. Now we learn that, okay, they can send. We already knew that they could send asteroids through space somehow. Now we're learning that they're the perfect commies that are not afraid of death, so they're also the perfect soldiers. And we're learning that they can spread their spore into other planets, so they can colonize other planets. And they're setting up the villain here. A big, red, scary one. I think we can fast forward here a little bit, because we don't want to see Carmen throw up. Next, we see a psychic test that Carl is administering on Rico, and here we confirm that yes, he's psychic, and there's tests being done for people to be psychics and blah blah blah. The most important thing that happens here is we see Carl actually do something like give a psychic command to his ferret. All right. Why do I say Cyrano? I think that's the name. Oh yeah. Here we can see it.
I'm out. Oh, he just wants some attention. You don't play with him anymore.
Cyrano. Go bug Mom, Cyrano.
How do you make him do that?
Oh, I gave him the impression there's a grub crawling up my mom's leg. He's on.
So, there you go. The important thing here is that apparently his psychic ability is not limited to just kind of reading people's minds. He can actually influence the minds of animals, which leads to Rico asking a very important question.
On a mission to go eat it.
Get off my leg! Carl!
Alright.
I sure hope you don't do anything like that to me.
Don't be afraid. Can't do human. Yet.
Alright, so again, they're setting up stuff. Maybe, for the future. Next, we get a really kick-ass football game, which I don't even know if it's considered football there, but we see our boy Johnny Rico is a highly talented athlete. He's kicking ass, taking names, they're winning. And here we're introduced to Sander, another guy who wants to be a pilot and who wants to bang Carmen. So now we got a little bit of rivalry here. Sander wants to keep going. He wants to get Carmen's attention. He got Carmen's attention, but letting her know that he's going into Fleet Academy. Rico doesn't like this. And so here we learn something very important about Rico that we kind of already knew, but I'll show it to you real quick. He's in the middle of a game. It's the last game of the season. It's YouTube shut down. It did it again? Damn it. Seriously? Let me see. It makes sense because for a while the USSR and the USA were trying to go to space first. What happened? Damn, YouTube shut you down. Aw, commie bastards. They really shut me down again? Am I back? I don't even know. Damn it. Ah, crap. Well, let me see. Am I still on Twitch? Let me see. Well, I think I'm still on Twitch. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep going because, again, I'm still on Twitch. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to delete this one, and I'll re-upload the thing. So sorry guys, but I'm kind of in the middle of it, and the stream's still going on Twitch. So I'm going to keep going strong. What the hell was I even talking about? All right. So we already knew this about our boy Rico from class, and that's that he gets Carmen distracts him very easily. But here he's in the middle of the game. It's the final game. And so, damn it. Let me just write this in the chat real quick. I'll keep going. And hopefully the stream comes back. Okay. If not, watch it on Twitch. That one's still working. Let me see. I'll re-upload the video on YouTube after I'm done. There you go. Hopefully everybody in the chat saw that. Sorry guys. Sorry. It's not me, it's YouTube. Damn it. I need to figure out a way not to get the copyright things, because I'm doing this. I'm following the stupid thing to the letter, but it's still stopping me. Basically, there's a bunch of copyright stuff, and now I have to challenge it or whatever. Oh, I'm back. Look at that. All right. We're back. Cool. So let's continue going. Like I said, I'll just repeat it. No, fuck it. I'm not going to repeat it. I already wrote it down. So let's continue. So our boy Rico, what we already learned from him, gets distracted by Carmen, but he is at a point where he shouldn't be distracted whatsoever. Let's see what happens. He's face to face with a new rival who wants to steal his chick. What does he do?
All is fair in love and war.
All is fair in love and war. Remember that. Remember that. Basically, Carmen distracts him, and it leads to the other team scoring again, scoring a point, and then going up. So clearly, this guy has a problem with not being able to pay attention whenever Carmen's around, or Carmen is maybe taking too much of his attention. Whatever. Let's continue with the movie. Ultimately, they're pissed. Dez turns out to be the quarterback of the team.
Just throw me the ball, Diz.
And you're about to see something crazy, all right? Dez is going to tackle a fool with her throwing arm and then throw the football. It's madness. It's insanity. All right, so hits one with the left shoulder. Boom, throwing arm, tackle. Anyway, Rico catches the ball and shows us a bunch of his athletic ability. They score, they win the game. So he gets to, basically get on Sanders' face and be like, suck it, bitch, we win, whatever. And then he makes out with Carmen right in front of him, which is honestly a pretty alpha move, respect. And they go out and celebrate, right? So next, we get to see Rico at home. And Rico at home, we see his parents. They seem to be kind of wealthy. Rico is saying that he's considering joining signing up to the Federation, blah, 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 to joining the military because he wants to be a citizen. Now, I think that the biggest flaw in this movie is that they actually don't show you that many differences between, it did it again? Fuck. You know what? I'm just not going to play clips. Fuck it. But I can't play clips that are that long. Damn it. I don't know why they keep doing this to me. It's really annoying. But I want to keep doing these live. It's a problem. It's a problem any way you look at it. Anyway, what was I even talking about? Yeah. So he wants to sign up. The dad's like, you're crazy. You're going to Harvard. Now, this is something pretty important. Harvard. Rico got a 35 in math. And so it shows us that our boy Rico is kind of privileged. He's more on the privileged side of life. You see his nice house, nice parents. He's wearing a tux. Dad's saying you gotta go to Harvard, even though we've seen that he doesn't have particularly good grades. So interesting stuff there. But they also are like, listen, we're also gonna bribe you. So they offer him a trip to the Outer Ring, Segama Beach, where he's always wanted to go. So now our boy Rico is kind of in a pickle. He's really unsure what to do in this particular situation because he does want the vacation. He does want the easy life, which basically what they're telling you is the citizen life and the civilian life are very different. One's particularly easy compared to the other. And the dad considers becoming a citizen would be the equivalent of ruining his life. Debatable, and it's not exactly clear all the differences between one and the other at this point. And I think it would have been better if they'd shown us a bit more, but whatever. It's already a 2-hour film. There's not too much you can actually insert there. So next we get to see the party, we get to see them having fun, and we get to see Dez making her move on Rico. And Rico being like, man, Dez says that she's considering going pro. She's considering playing for Rio. And she makes her move on Rico. And Rico's like, can't we just be friends? Which sucks, you know? But the friend zone works both ways, boys and girls. It works both ways. Rico then goes to talk to Professor Radchak, thanking him for this class, that it was the best one, blah, blah, blah. And he asks for advice. The advice that he wants is that he's considering joining signing up. And he wants to know what would he do in that situation. And I think I can play the answer here for Professor Radchak. I mean, they already took the stream down.
Go find her.
Well, my parents are against it. And I know it's my choice. I was wondering, what would you do if you were me?
What would you do if you were me? Honestly, I'm just pausing this here right now, so hopefully the stream doesn't get taken down. Hashtag free Dario. Thanks, man.
Figuring things out for yourself is the only freedom anyone really has. Use that freedom. Make up your own mind, Rico.
Okay, make up your own mind, Rico. All right, figuring things out for yourself is the only freedom you have. Remember that. So this leads to Rico seeing Carmen talking with Xander. Maybe the fast forward is what takes it down. She's talking with Xander in his stupid fleet uniform, and that's when Rico takes her away, and Rico tells her, hey, I'm signing up as well. I want to become a civilian. Remember, what did the professor just say? It's the freedom to, let me see, figuring things out for yourself is the only freedom anyone really has. If Rico made this choice simply because of Carmen, he gave up his freedom, right? He didn't make the choice for himself. He's simply following after Carmen. So he's not free. He's not using his freedom whatsoever. He didn't make up his mind. He didn't actually check out the pros and cons. He just basically followed his dick. However, he did get rewarded for it because Carmen then tells her, like, hey, my dad's not here, and they are both virgins at this point, so it's implied that they hook up and, you know, Dario in YouTube jail. Yes, bastards. Bastards from a basket. It's implied that they, you know, they got it on. Anyway, let's continue. This leads to them, you know, signing up and being assigned. Damn it. Let's go 8. No, stupid. I hate it. I hate doing it this way. I'd rather do it in the computer. So we find out that Carmen...
Hey,
there we go.
get Starside R&D? No. I don't believe it. I got games and theory.
Games
So
and
Carl
theory.
gets, you know, he's sent to military intelligence. Good for him. And Rico gets sent to mobile infantry. And here's a bit of foreshadowing that's really not... Well, not foreshadowing, but...
Good for you.
Something
Mobile
scary.
infantry made me the man I am today.
So he's talking to a clerk, and the clerk, you know, shakes his hand, says, mobile infantry made me the man I am today, good for you. And we see that the man doesn't have an arm, or it's a robotic arm, and he doesn't have legs. So again, this Rico is immediately starting to regret his decision, right? He's immediately realizing that, oh, maybe I fucked up. Maybe this was not a good idea. And again, if you do something for the wrong reasons, it's always a bad decision. So here we go. The three friends make a pact to always be friends and to blah blah blah. The parents completely disagree with Rico's decision, so they cut him off. And the mom vocalizes what we just discussed here a few seconds ago. She's like, "I hope you're not just following a girl who wants to look cute in a uniform or whatever." And Rico's like, "Don't talk about Carmen that way." Rico tells Carmen, oh, again, a little bit more foreshadowing. Carmen saying that her dad wanted to help her pack. It was almost like he felt like he was never going to see her again, which, you know, foreshadowing. Rico and Carmen say their goodbyes. However, before they say goodbye, Rico drops an I love you. And it's pretty clear that it's the first time that he said it. And Carmen doesn't until Rico pushes her a little bit to do it. And so she does. She says, I love you. And then she says, write me. And they leave. They depart, right? Keep all that stuff in mind. You need to remember it. All right? She didn't want to say it. She was kind of pushed into it a little bit, maybe, or nudged. But she did say it. Write me. Whatever. Anyway. Let me move here a little bit. Next, we get a little bit more news about how this society works. Before we actually get into training, their punishment, the psychic stuff. And we get to see a settlement by Mormons that was taken over by bugs, basically, because they ended up colonizing a planet that was filled with bugs. All that fun stuff. Next, we go into training. We get to meet, Sergeant Sim, who's breaking them down. His job, you know, this is the the training aspect, and their job is basically to just, you know, break the recruits down. In Sim's case, he does it literally because he ends up breaking a dude's arm, literally. And so we learn how the military works, how brutal they are, how they actually don't care about injuring each other. And we get to see that Diz decides to join. And Diz actually, she joins the military. And she joins the exact same regiment where, I said regiment? Whatever, the exact same group where Rico is. She's following him, maybe. And so Rico's kind of upset about this. We'll skip to it for a little bit in the future, but Rico is kind of upset at Diz because he thinks that Diz is just chasing after him and Rico's trying to do this for himself, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing the irony that he's did pretty much the exact same thing. All right, again, our boy Rico is sometimes not very bright, and maybe it's because he realizes the irony of him doing the exact same thing that it upsets him. Maybe it's because he's upset at himself for doing it. Who knows? We can't read his mind. Anyway, we get to see a little bit more about training and how things are going there. We get the knife throwing scene, which is an iconic one. I'm not going to get into it because, again, I told you, there's a point in this movie where we're not going to break stuff down that much. There's the iconic shower scene that I'm going to skip here because that will definitely get the stream taken down. I think I already saw some nipples, so that's a problem. But, yep, more nipple there, more butt. Hopefully it's too short and nobody notices, but whatever. All right. At the iconic shower scene, it's guys and girls showering together, which shows, again, the true equality of genders in the future. And let me break down some of the things that they say there. All right, so they talked about their reasons for joining. Now, the biggest reasons why most people join is to become citizens. And now, what are some of the privileges of being a citizen? Here you go. One, because she wants to go into politics. So apparently, in order to be a politician, you need to serve in the military, which honestly is not a terrible thing. Second, one guy got into Harvard. However, he can't pay for it, so the Federation will pay for his school, which is kind of similar to what we have today. Another girl wants to have a license. She wants to have babies, and so the easiest way to get a license for that is by being a citizen. That was pretty interesting, by the way. So only government-approved people can have kids, all right? They can have babies. That's pretty dystopian stuff. Another guy wants to go career. Another guy wants to be a writer. It's unclear if he has to be a citizen in order to be a writer, but whatever. The point is, he said that's one of the reasons why he did it. Let's continue. So next we get to see a bit of Carmen's training. We get to oh, what the hell? All right, we get to see a little bit of Carmen's training, right, and how she's doing up in Fleet. And we learn that Carmen has a bit of a reputation for being crazy on the stick. She's a crazy pilot, and she's moving up quickly. She's moving up fast because she's given opportunity to drive an actual, I think it's a cruiser, if not Dreadnought, but whatever. And the person who's going to be training her is none other than Sander. So Sander must actually be pretty capable as well if he made it up that way, up that quickly in the ranks, right? Should be. It's not clear how much time has passed, but at least basic training had to have been passed, right? Anyway, we get to see Carmen, again, being kind of a crazy pilot, and see how she takes out the ship and almost gives everybody a heart attack. And, again, shows us exactly how capable she is. Point here. Highly capable females in this particular film, right? Different set of skills, but really, really good with them. And it's going well. Then we get to see the sickest game of laser tag ever, and we see Dez and Rico teaming up. All right, so basically Dez is the quarterback. Dez gives Rico the play that they should do, reminding him of their old football days, and Rico does it. So it shows you the dynamics there. The brain of the duo is Diz, right? The redhead. She's capable, she's smart. However, the physically gifted one is Rico. Again, male versus female, how both of them together end up making things better because one's better at one thing, another one's better at the other. However, the one that ends up getting awarded for the particular play is Rico because he's the one that actually went and got the flag. Whatever. So there you go. You could argue it's unfair for Diz, but you could also say, I mean, if you want to promote somebody, I'd promote the brain, but here you don't see the brain. You see the person who actually did all the skill stuff. So he got promoted, which is actually kind of relevant to the entire story if you know the bug side of things. Anyway, Male shows up. Rico again tells Diz, like, hey, friends, right? No hard feelings. Diz is like, sure, we're friends. Like I'm basically spitting out the word friends. And they got mail. Rico gets a letter from Carmen, and the letter starts off pretty terribly from the get-go. And I'll play a little bit.
Hi, Johnny. I'm sorry I haven't written you sooner.
Hey, Johnny. I'm sorry I haven't written you sooner. So, if you guys remember the last conversation these two had, Carmen is the one that told Rico, write me, right? Carmen told Rico, write me. Rico did write her. And now she's saying, sorry, I haven't written you sooner. So they haven't had any communication, or at least not for a while. So I'm downloading Twitch. Fuck YouTube. Chuck Dominguez. Yeah. Smart. And it is clear that Carmen hasn't really been taking her relationship particularly seriously. And like I said, it's a bad start, but it gets worse because Carmen basically, long story short, dumps Rico. She dumps our boy Rico. And basically what she says is, I want to go career, and that doesn't leave time for us. So for Carmen, literally her career is more important than Rico, than love. That will be maybe relevant afterwards, maybe not. And Rico is starting to feel like he deserves that. Because he signed up for Carmen, and now Carmen dumped him. So now he's like, fuck. Right? Maybe I shouldn't have done this. I was stupid. And yes, that's exactly right. That's true. He should not have done that. He was stupid. It was a bad decision. In the long run, he got lucky for reasons that we're about to see. But whatever. The ace, who's his best friend in the military, is like, man, don't worry about it. You gained everything by yourself, which is not true. It was actually because of this. So again, Rico's not particularly feeling good about himself at that particular point. I'm a little bit faster. Then we have the live ammo training that ends in tragedy because of Rico taking off the helmet of a fellow soldier that wasn't working. He ends up getting killed, and so Rico then ends up getting punished by Hank from Breaking Bad.
Remove his helmet during a live fire exercise.
All right, so instead of kicking him out, they're like, dude, you're gonna get administrative punishment, which is 10 lashes, right? 10 lashes, which sucks. So that's his punishment. That's what he's gonna get because they don't want to kick him out. And so he gets his 10 lashes, which suck. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not a good time. Let me see what else. I think Carmen's next, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So he takes his punishment like a man. Next, we get to see Carmen traveling in space. Sander kind of trying to make his move on her. But they get attacked by an asteroid popping out of nowhere. So they manage to dodge it. It knocks down their communications, so they're unable to inform Earth that an asteroid is heading Earth's way. Next, let me see, after this is done. Again, we get to see how capable Carmen is as a pilot, and then the only reason they survived is because of Carmen, and the captain recognizes that. And so next we get to see Rico deciding to, hey, you know what? I'm dropping out of the military anyway. I'm leaving. Now, this is important. Rico had already been punished. Right? So he could have just... The military was like, all right, listen, we won't kick you out, but we'll punish you. We'll do administrative punishment. Rico was like, fine, do administrative punishment. And he quit anyway. Which means that Rico wanted to be punished. Now, why did he want to be punished? It's not exactly clear. Did he want to get punished because he felt he was responsible for the death of his fellow squad member? Or did he feel like he should be punished for joining the military for all the wrong reasons? It's not clear. The point is, the man felt the need to get punished. He felt like he needed to get punished, so he calls his parents. The parents are ecstatic, right? They're super happy. Rico admits he's an idiot, and the parents, they're like, dude, we love you. Just come back home. Rico, and this leads Rico to admit that, he's an idiot. And at this point, Rico is 100% correct about that. He is an idiot. Every single decision he's made up to that point has been pretty much wrong, or at least made for the wrong reasons. So if you make a decision for the wrong reasons, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. And in Rico's particular case, it kind of works out, but only because of extenuating circumstances, which is the bug sending an asteroid over to Buenos Aires and killing everybody there. So he joined the military not for himself, but for a girl. And so he wants to own up to that, which is a sign of growth. At least he's recognizing the fact that he made a mistake. Now he took his licks. Now he feels that he was properly punished. And then it turns out that the asteroid that Carmen dodged ended up destroying Buenos Aires and killing his family, right? Which is ironic in a way. And I'll break down why. So, oh, by the way, Des doesn't realize that she's she complains to Rico about leaving all that stuff, but she doesn't realize that she kind of did the exact same thing that Rico does. Maybe that's what bugs her, but whatever. Here's the irony. Ironically, and it's unclear, this is pure speculation by me. It's possible that if Carmen's ship hasn't, which I'm assuming is powered by something at least equal to or maybe even more powerful than nuclear energy, if it had taken that asteroid heads on, which again, it's a nuclear vehicle, at the very least nuclear, filled with weapons and artillery, and we know some of their weapons that they carry, the infantry carries are nukes. If it had had a straight-on collision against the asteroid, then maybe the asteroid would have been thrown off its course, or at least thrown off the course enough to not destroy Buenos Aires, and then so not completely destroy the city, and maybe Rico's parents could have survived. Maybe. Now, again, that's pure speculation, and just because I find it funny, but the obvious answer here is that the reason why the asteroid scene with Carmen was added is, one, to show that she's competent, and two, they wanted to show that the asteroid didn't come out of nowhere. There was like at least a little bit of build up to what the asteroid was going to do. So there you go. Anyway, so Johnny makes his decision. He's going to leave. He doesn't care about being a citizen anymore until they see the destruction of Buenos Aires. To which Johnny Rico says, like, fuck those bugs. I'm not leaving. So he goes and tells Hank from Breaking Bad that, let me back in, coach. And he's like, all right, fine. I'll look the other way when they destroy your little paper that you signed saying that you quit. And we get more new stuff. They say the humans are going to be attacking. They say the advantages that we have. So everybody's really stoked to attack the bugs. They feel very confident. They feel very strong. Everybody's in high spirits. They're looking forward to go fight bugs. Everybody's mad. And so again, Rico has done 3 things for wrong reasons up to this point. 1, he joined the military because he was chasing after a girl. Bad decision. 2nd, he abandoned the military because he only joined it because of a girl, which was not for the wrong reasons. And finally, that's really weird. Finally, he decided to rejoin the military because his family got killed. Now, vengeance is a perfectly good motivator for pretty much anybody, anywhere. I get it. I completely understand it. But again, it just shows us who our boy Rico is. Continuing the story, this is the first reunion of they meet in a ship, Carmen and Rico, and well, basically Rico sees Xander and he's like, oh, so this is the reason why you left me, blah blah blah, and they leads to a fight between Xander and Rico, which let's say ends in a tie. Let's be generous, ends in a tie, and it shows us that there's problems between fleet and mobile infantry. Like I guess in most branches of the military, there's a competition. And everybody's really happy about the invasion. They're excited. They land. We get to see a bunch of really cool sci-fi stuff. The ships, how they land, how they move, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. It's really cool. And now we're back pretty much to the beginning of the movie, the invasion, which is, again, where we started. And as the audience already knows, this does not end well. It does not end well at all whatsoever for anybody. The bugs, there's way more of them. They're way more powerful. They're way smarter. They basically walked into a trap, and it was a death trap, and we get to see a bunch of soldiers get killed, and we get to see the scene that we saw in the beginning of the film of a bunch of the people from Rico's squad get killed, the reporter get killed, a bunch of people get killed, basically, left and right. The bugs, they don't discriminate, and there's way too many of them. People lose their nerves. They lose their heads. They start getting killed left and right. I remember it's like 100,000 deaths total. And here we go. We're back at the beginning. And Rico trying to save it. Like, honestly, the dumbest camera guy in history. Whatever. Stupid. Stupid as stupid does, I guess. Rico gets injured. And again, I guess this is the exact same point where the movie started. Rico with an injured leg, about to be swarmed by bugs. But he's like, man, I ain't going down like this. So he grabs his gun and just starts whacking everything in sight, until eventually a bug gets up close and personal, and we cut to black. So we don't know what happened. What we do know is that there was a lot of deaths, 100,000 deaths in 1 hour, and so the admiral who planned this attack resigns. So another person takes over. This time, it's a woman. And the approach, instead of it being just complete brute force and just total violence, in order to beat the bug, we need to understand the bug. So that's the new strategy moving forward. And we get to see a debate of people thinking, you know, there's got to be a smart bug out there. People be like, bugs ain't smart, you're stupid. But again, male and female stuff, debates. I'm sure you can guess who is on the side of what. They start going through casualties. Carmen goes through the KIA list, the killed in action list, and Johnny Rico is on that list. So our boy Johnny Rico is officially listed as killed in action. As we will see, he's not. He's actually on a chamber, but I'm assuming since they saw him get attacked on screen, everybody assumed he was dead. He survived. They're redeployed to another group called the Roughnecks. It turns out that the Roughnecks, the leader of the Roughnecks is actually his former teacher, Mr. Ratchak. And here we go.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits. You don't do your job, I'll shoot you. You get me.
We get you!
All right. Turns out that Mr. Ratchak actually saved Rico in, what's the name of the planet? I got him right here on my shirt. Well, the point is, Klandatu. So he saved him. Turns out the dude's actually a really badass, whatever. Let's continue, because again, at this point, it's basically just action throughout the movie. We get to see a little bit of a combination of aerial superiority mixed with, you know, ground troops movement, blah, blah, blah. We get to see how the Roughneck operates. The Roughnecks are actually pretty capable, at least way more capable than the previous group. They're better organized. They're braver. They're more disciplined. We get to see Rico kill one of the big bugs. And so, again, we get to see his physical skills being shown off. And Rico was rewarded once again for all his physical abilities. And he's made the new squad commander or whatever. I think it's something else. Something higher than squad command. Oh, no. Something above lieutenant. And then he makes Diz his new squad leader. And so they start celebrating. Ratchak throws a party. They give him beer, blah, blah. Diz tries to hook up with him again. And Ratchak gives him this piece of advice.
Want some now?
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant, HQ's on the com.
Never pass up a good thing.
Never pass up a good thing. So he's talking about this at this point. So, you guys remember, the girl who he played football with, friend at school, followed him to the military, followed him to this squad, tried to keep him alive, tried to keep him inside the military when he wanted to quit, who shares his hatred for the bugs because they grew up in the same city and they lost their both families, and who still is trying to get him. He's like, dude, just never pass up a good thing, which again, it's true. Rico, stop it, you stupid idiot. You got Hinata right there. All right, that's freaking Hinata from Naruto right there. Why are you still going after Sakura, you dumb idiot? Anyway, let's continue here real quick. Turns out that Rico gets his act together. He goes after Diz. They start hooking up. And Diz is actually super happy afterwards. Again, oh, damn it. I tried moving it fast. It didn't work. Anyway, Diz tells him that she loves him. Rico doesn't say anything back. But basically, Diz is super happy because she finally got absolutely every single thing that she's wanted. Her story arc is complete. As you guys very well know, is a very dangerous thing in any story. You never want to finish your arc. Why, you will see in a minute. But anyway, they continue. They get called to a different planet, a distress signal. They go check out the distress signal. Turns out everybody's dead. As they're exploring, they find a body whose brain's been eaten. They also find a general that was hiding. The general who was hiding is like, dude, they get into your brain. They control things. So they're like, it's a trap. The bugs set a trap for us. So let's get the fuck out of here. So they start, they try to radio for help. And the bugs start attacking them. As the bugs start attacking them, we get this epic fight. Again, this is basically the invasion of bugs. And again, look at that CGI. It's for the time, it's actually pretty good. Like all the bugs coming at him. It holds up really well. I think it holds up really, really well. Like outside in the sunshine, I think they look worse at night than they do during the day. Whatever. The point is they're attacked by the bugs. They're being swarmed. They're trying to get the fuck out of there. Blah, 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 blah. There's not, again, I told you, there's a point in this movie where it's just going to be an action film, so there's not really much for me to break down here in all that stuff. The point is, they get overwhelmed by bugs. Ship comes in just in time. As they start to get ready to leave, a big bug breaks down through the bottom of the base, which ends up with the death of, well, with Ratchek being like half of his body being eaten. So Rico shoots him, and so as they're trying to escape, Dez throws I think I can play that. Dez throws a grenade at the giant bug's mouth, the tanker, which kills him. So she's very excited. She's like, all right, I killed that thing. Did you see that? And she does a massive mistake. Turns her back to an enemy. And so the enemy makes her pay. This was the death of Diz. Not good. Not good. But again, her story arc was done. So usually when your story arc is done, it means that you're dead. They're going to kill you off. Sorry, it happens. That's how it works. If your story has nowhere else to go, that means that they're probably going to kill you off. And there's still like half an hour of movie left. So, sorry, Des. You shall be missed. You were the best girl. I'll give it to you. Maybe Denise Richards is like 10 times hotter, but you're the better girl. Sorry. Anyway, so she gets dead. Rico's pissed. They get on the ship. They try to get her out of there, but she dies. But she's like, I got to have you, and that's the only thing that I do. So, it's like she got a good death in a way. I don't think there's such thing as a good death. And then we get the reunion of Carmen and Rico, who at this point thinks he's dead. All right, remember.
Whose authority, Corporal?
That would be mine, sir. I assume command of the mission.
Roger, Young. We have an official request by the mobile infantry to commence bombardment of Planet P.
I thought you were dead.
I'm not, but a lot of my troopers are.
All right. So something interesting is happening here. Very, maybe not interesting, but important. And just look at Carmen's face after this point.
Negative on your request, Rooter. The Sky Marshal has other plans for Planet P. Welcome back.
Am I just dying? Fleet just does the flying.
Hold on, something's up. Fleet's mobilized for a big operation.
Let me see, are they gonna show, or did I skip it already? Oh, there you go. All right. Oh no, they do the face thing. All right. So what was I wanted to point out here? So Denise Richards' character, Carmen, sucks. Well, she's very capable, but, you know, she broke our boys' hearts. She cared more about career than Rico. She cared more about anything else. And now that he's dead, well, that she thought he was dead, she's starting to realize, oh my God, I really do love him, because I didn't want him to be dead. You know, you don't know what you got till it's gone, and dead is pretty much really gone. So she's lost everything and everyone, almost literally. Like, her family's dead, everybody she knew back in Buenos Aires is dead. She thought Rico was dead, and suddenly he comes back from the dead. So she's realizing kind of how she really feels about him, right? And maybe she's starting to care about her career a little bit less. However, on the other hand, Rico no longer cares about her as much. So maybe they're closer to the same spot where they should be, because Rico loved her too much at the start of it. Now he's gone down, maybe completely, who knows? But yeah, it's a whole thing about, there you go, you don't know what you got till it's gone, so don't put your career above people or something. I don't know what they're trying to say there, but they're trying to say something. Then you got the funeral of Dis, and Rico finally explains that he understands what it means to be a citizen. Let me see. I'll tell you, just because I don't want the stream to get taken down again. A citizen has the courage to make the safety of the human race their personal responsibility. That's Rico's answer to what a citizen is. And now, notice how he expanded it. At the beginning of the story, he's saying it that is responsibility to protect the body politic. Here, not body politic anymore. It's the human race, right? So he expanded it. It's about humanity. It's about uniting under one threat, which follows themes of stuff that came out during that time. Like, perfect. And again, stuff that came out during the Cold War, that we felt that we needed a common enemy in order to unite. So similar to the way that Russia and the US united against the Nazis and stuff like that. Debatable stuff like that. Maybe I'm reading it completely wrong, but maybe I'm not. We'll see. Oh God, it's too hot. Thank God we're almost done. All right, so this is the first reunion. Carl shows up. Turns out that he's a colonel now. and he explains that, hey, yeah, I'm sorry it was you down there, but we knew that there might be a trap, but we needed to confirm that there was a bug. And Carl comes back, and he's harsher, he's colder, he's more calculating, but they're still friends. They head down to the ground, and basically Rico starts parroting absolutely every single thing that Ratchet said. Like, what is it? Everyone fights, no one quits. If you don't do your job, I'll shoot you myself. What else? Like, I'll take the job until I get killed or you find someone better. So as you see, Rico now is just basically trying to be Ratchet 2.0. Rico's Roughnecks. So the mission starts taking place. Their objective is to capture a brain bug on planet P. They're getting massacred on the air, and actually Carmen's ship ends up getting torn to pieces, so they have to evacuate. In the evacuation, the captain gets killed, and she and Xander basically end up crash landing on planet P. Let me just move this forward a little bit. As she's crash landing, she manages to get a message out to the Roughnecks. The Roughnecks then are like, oh, well, what's your location? Blah, blah, blah. They ended up landing in a tunnel of some of the bug tunnels. And so they're surrounded. The situation is extremely hostile. And Rico's like, all right, I know she's dead. There's no way they survived that. So he cancels the order to go find them. Strangely enough, they actually survive. And the reason they survive is because the brain bug wants to go and eat their brains. Shocker. They go into the tunnels, and as they're going through the tunnels, Rico's like, I think we should go this way. They're like, let me see. I think I can get it. All right.
A company's that way.
Yeah. But Carmen's down there.
Yeah, I hate to be rude, buddy. Word has it she's dead.
She's still alive.
How do you know?
I don't know how I know, but I know.
Listen.
All right. So again, Rico, who he literally just said she's dead 20 seconds ago. He's like, I don't know how, but I know she's dead. I know she's that way. And so he's like, I need 2 volunteers. And Ace and I think Watkins are the guys who end up joining him. But again, he literally just said 20 seconds ago. So it means that either he changed his mind, which would be like, God damn it, Rico, what's all the progress that we made in this movie? Or there's something else going on, some shenanigans, which we'll get to in a minute. So they go down that path, right? In the meantime, the brain bug comes out after Sander and what's her name? And Denise Richards and Carmen. And we see Sander hand over a knife to Carmen. Now, this is really bizarre. I think this is one of the flaws of the movies. I understand why they did it. They did it this way. They made Sander give her the knife because A, they wanted to kill off Sander, and 2, so they could show what the brain bug does. Again, Sander could have used the knife to cut off the thing. I get it. Those are the reasons why they did it. But a big flaw here is, from what we understood, the brain bug kind of reads your thoughts when it absorbs your brain, or it can make you do stuff. I don't know. It's unclear. The point is, they just really wanted to kill off Sander, which, whatever. Will you miss him? I won't miss him. Anyway, Sander gets dead, sucked like a Capri Sun. And Denise Richards uses the knife that Sander gave her to cut off the thing's tip. And Rico comes in with a nuke. The brain's like, oh shit, a nuke, get me out of here. So everybody starts running away. The bugs swarm them. They end up getting Watkins, and Watkins is like, give me the nuke, I'll stay here, I'll give you some time. They start running from the nuke. They run. They manage to get basically off the blast zone. The cave collapsed right behind them. And they see a bunch of soldiers celebrating that they've captured the brain bug. Brain bug's been captured. Everybody's like, what the hell? We did it. We succeeded in the mission. We caught the brain bug. Woohoo. And Carl shows up. He reads the thing's brain, and he's like, it's afraid. So everybody's like, yeah, they fear us. Woo, we can read their minds too. We're going to get a lot of information off this thing. It's going to be great. Carl's like, yeah, we're going to get a whole bunch of information. Now, from this point on, the war's going to turn, blah, blah. And we get shown who is the person who ended up catching the bug. And it was actually Sergeant Sim. You guys may remember him as the drill sergeant in the movie. And, earlier in the movie, the guy who broke the cadets. That guy. He's the guy who ended up catching the brain bug. And fun fact about that particular actor, not only Is he the villain from Outlander? He's actually the voice for Mr. Krabs. Listen.
Good job, Sergeant.
Thank you, sir. That would be private, sir.
Carry on.
So Mr. Krabs ended up catching the brain bug. And this is actually a throwback to a scene that we saw earlier on that I just skipped through because, again, I was trying to go through this through a little bit faster. Toro Rosso Sander, you cocky son of a bitch. Yes. Zim was told by Hank from Breaking Bad that if he wanted to go into the front lines, he would have to demote himself to private. And here we see Zim bump himself to private. So he actually did it because he wanted to go in the front lines, and the fact that he did it is the reason why they ended up catching the brain bug. Anyway, so we got more new stuff. Apparently humans are in a good position. The war is going to continue. Everybody's going to keep fighting. Carmen's the captain, and Rico's still doing all the stuff, and that's the movie. That's it. That's how the whole thing ends. That's the whole shebang. It's left open because, you know, there was the possibility of them making a sequel, which they did. However, most of the cast is not part of the sequel. But that's it. That was Starship Troopers, and son of a bitch, it was a long one. Let me tell you. Well, actually, it wasn't that long because of the movie, because as I told you, there's a point where it's basically just action, and I don't really have to explain anything, or we don't have to actually go into particular topics that could be a little bit, let's say, worthy of conversation. And let me just do this real quick, because I need to get this out of the way real quick. All right, so what did we see about this movie other than it being epic and awesome? And honestly, I can think of very few things I would remove from the movie. I would have made a few things clearer, but not so much. But what did we see? Again, remember the themes? Let's go back to the themes. All right, so the theme of violence, right? Very important thing. What is it that Rat Check called it? I have it right here. Violence. Let me see. Violence, the supreme authority from which all other authority is derived, which is kind of the way that the bugs have their society in a way. Well, actually, no, it's not really that violent. They're violent against humans, but not against themselves, because they're not part of their hive or whatever, their cluster or their group. But the violence between the humans just automatically going the violent route towards bugs and then realizing, crap, this doesn't work. We can't out-violence the bugs. They don't fear. They have no fear. They don't care about losses. They don't care about anything. We can't beat him this way. We need to use something else. So again, point number one, violence isn't always the answer. Talking about personal responsibility and leadership. Well, sometimes you need to, again, learning to do things for the right reasons. The difference between being smart and being wise. Or our boy Rico learning to actually become wiser, to actually think a little bit more, not just rely on his physical abilities, stuff like that. Communism versus militaristic fascism that we saw. And that one I can say it's debatable because neither side's particularly fantastic. And finally, the masculine versus the feminine. We get to see different sides being more capable of different things. Some of them being more successful than the others, but ultimately it's them working together that makes it actually come on top at the end. So I don't know. I just love it. It's a great film. As an action film, there's a point you don't really have to debate it. It's not. You don't have to go too deep into it, like we've gone to with the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or like we did with the 13th Warrior. It's just a fun film. It brings up a lot of really interesting topics that again I don't really want to feel like debating, but it's interesting to think about. Service guaranteed citizenship, is that a thing that could work? Could it not? Would it make things work? Could it not? Violence, how is the best way to handle it? How do you handle all this stuff? It's fun to think about. But again, there's a point in this movie where it stops. It starts that, I think that's the weak part of the movie. It introduces a bunch of really interesting topics. It doesn't finish them. It just throws them, and then at one point it's like, I'm just an action movie. I'm just gonna blow stuff up, blow bugs up. Which is fine, it's cool. It's cool. But you'd wish it'd do a little bit more, and unfortunately the sequels kind of suck. So there you go. I think it's a good place to stop. Honestly, it's too hot, and I'm pretty tired here. So as always, comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Super Dario World and at Dario CW. As I already gave you the calendar, man. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel, it really helps me out. I'm going to reload the stupid video up to YouTube just so that it's there so you can actually see it in its entirety. But I gave you the full calendar of what we're going to be doing. Next week, it's only going to be Wednesday, so I'm going to be doing my normal podcast Monday, Otaku Tuesday on Tuesday, and then Underrated Gems will be on Wednesday for this week. Mortal Kombat. I think I still have Mortal Kombat up here. Yeah, there you go. Then the night version Mortal Kombat. So there you go. As always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again. Hope you enjoy that. I'll see you again next time.